Well, the former Elliot Golf Course will look a lot different thanks to a grant awarded to the Wild Roots Nature Center at Prairie's Edge. Alyssa Kelly was out today's announcement and learns how the former course will be transformed into a thriving natural landscape.
The transformation itself is going to be historic.
2 years ago, Severson Dell's Education Foundation unveiled major plans to restore the former Elliot Golf Course to its roots, calling it the Wild Roots Nature Center at Prairie's Edge.
We are excited to announce the purchase of 168 acres of Elliot Golf Course.
Now, a $25,000 grant from America in Bloom in collaboration with Canadian National Railroad will move that proposal closer to reality.
And we're looking forward to turning it into prairie and oak savanna and eventually wetland habitat with the creek there, and having walking trails out here for folks to enjoy.
The center's executive director, Ann Wasser, says the grant is substantial. $25,000 will cover roughly 20 acres of seed purchase.
It does help a lot because native plant seed is not cheap, unfortunately.
This grant is one of only 5 given out. America in Bloom leaders say the center reflects their mission to promote and build vibrant, sustainable communities.
We get a lot of incredible applications, but this one stood out to our committee because of the focus on restoration and turning a former golf course into something that's going to be a community asset for decades to come.
Designers say the ripple effects of this transformation will be felt by residents across the area. In fact, Cherry Valley's village administrator calls it historic.
It's another thing that the village is so excited about because the village is trying to promote live, work, play, learn throughout the whole community. And there's a lot of golf courses, but there's not a lot of places that have nature centers like this with the educational fortitude that's going to come with it.
Reporting in Rockford, Alyssa Kelly.
Now, from 9 a.m. to noon this Saturday, Wild Roots Nature Center at Prairie's Edge will host a volunteer exhibit restoration day. Actually, that's Habitat Restoration Day. Community members are welcome to attend and are encouraged to wear closed-toed shoes and long pants.